How are we going, everybody? Now, yesterday you saw Craig Hastry demonstrate an approach graft for fruit trees and obviously for ornamentals as well. And that's just using his budding knife and grafting knife tools, which are basically hand tools to do it, well, create the cut on your own. A lot of people have asked if are there any sort of tools available that do the cuts for you. Not exactly the cut that Craig did yesterday or the type of graft that he did yesterday, but there are definitely tools out there in the market, and we've got these available as well. I know many of you have already purchased them. This one's called a well-cut grafting tool, and it's also got a secateur on top of it, so it cuts the actual branch, if you like. And you can see it's not designed for a large branch. So this one here is about 8 mil in diameter. I reckon it'll go up to about 12, maybe 14 mil maximum in size. Probably 12 maximum. And that's just your little cutting tool to get it off straight off the tree. And then from there you can actually use it to graft. And I'll demonstrate in a second, but I'll just show you the other one as well. This is the Italian grafting tool. A lot more expensive, obviously made in Italy. It also it comes with 3 different cutting tools on them. So the one that we've got at the moment is a V shape, or omega shape, let's say, the same as the well cut. It also has a pad, which is the cutting pad where the blade sits onto and makes an indentation on it once it cuts through the actual stem. And if that does wear out, you can rotate it. So you've got about 6 or 8 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So you've got 6 goes at it, and that's a lot of grafting that you can do with that before it does wear out. And I'm talking hundreds of them, in fact. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this one, then the Italian one. And like I said earlier, this one has 2 other different cutting blades on it. It also has a budding blade on it, so you can actually do a bud graft onto the side of a branch or a trunk. And it also comes with another crown tool, which is for larger branches, which are up to about 70 millimeters in diameter, maybe 80 mils in diameter. It can create a bark graft on it. And those 2 together are fantastic. But for now, let's just do the traditional one. What we're going to have, say this is our rootstock, and I've got to cut a bit off here, which will be our scion wood. Sorry, I just dropped those. So that's our rootstock. Let's say that's connected to a root ball somewhere in the pot or the ground, and we want to graft this onto there. I'll just remove the top half of that. So we want to graft that onto here. And real simple approach with this tool here is, for starters, we've got to get rid of the bud. You don't want to be trying to graft right next to the bud itself. So just doing an undercut there like that. Get rid of that. And then we do well, it really doesn't matter. You can do it either way because it has a one direction V cut on it, and you do the same cut, well, the same approaching cutting on both branches, the rootstock and the scion wood. Now, what I've done there is I've just lined it up. So the most critical part about this is making sure that you've lined up the actual cutting blade. If I turn it over slowly, there's the cutting blade there. It's lined up to the center of the branch or the scion wood that you're using, or in this case, the rootstock. And then once we've got that, we just press firmly all the way down to the cutting base and then remove. And there we have that there. Now, that can be the rootstock, and I'm sure you probably see online. I'm looking at it, if I was holding it this way, so I held it that way and I created that cut there. Now, I'm going to do it again just for the purpose of the demonstration. I'm going to do it again. I've just lined it up. Can you see it there? Nice and centered. I think it is. No glasses on, so forgive me if it's off. Cut. And now I've done it the other way. And I think that's the way you want to have the rootstock. So the rootstock will have that cut, and now our scion wood that's going to sit on top has to have the opposite cut. And as I said earlier, get rid of, I'm going to use my secateurs for this. Nice and clean cut like that. Now that has to have the opposite, so you don't want to have 2 pointy ends together. It's got to be the opposite. So we're going to do the same thing here now. Line it up in the center. I've just done it there, centered there. That's all I've got to do, and then press and release. And there's the opposite cut, and that should slip on. It might be slightly off-centered, but there we are. Slips on like a glove. Look at that. And the aim there, well, on this side it's perfect. Have a look at that. Now this is slightly smaller in diameter to the bottom half, so we've got to line the one side up because we're talking about the cambium layer that sits just underneath the bark. That's the sort of limey green coloured skin that you see in there. Now, because this is slightly narrower, it's extending out on one side, the bottom half that is, but the other side's perfectly flush. And we've got contact all the way through here. So from there, we've got contact of cambium layer sap flow all the way through, again on the other side, all the way around. And the only part it doesn't connect to is on this end here. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'll line it up. You can see that end there. There's no connection point there, so the sap won't flow there, but as you know, once it calluses over, that will start to fuse together and it'll all start to flow again as the branch grows. Now, you can't leave it like that. Now, you saw the buddy tape yesterday, which is a fantastic product. That just fell off, don't worry about that. I'll pick it up in a sec. What we have here is a real cheap form. Now, the other one is about 60 or 70 bucks a roll. You don't have to buy a roll of that. You can buy it in perforated sections, 50 mil and 70 mil, or otherwise you get this one here, which is the cheap alternative. It's super soft. It's like Glad wrap, folks, and it does really work. Problem is, I've only got two hands, and this isn't attached to a pot or a root. So I'm just trying to balance it here like this for now, to show you the demonstration of how to wrap this up. And I might just cut a bit off and do it actually. It's just a bit too hard to handle. So, imagine that's on the rootstock. This is softer than your typical grafting tape, that real sort of rigid stuff. You can see how, now I'm going to spin this around to make it easier, but you can see how this also gives, just like the buddy tape, but a hell of a lot, what are you doing? A lot cheaper. I love you, sweetheart. Don't lick me. No, come on. All right, we're best friends. All right. All right, relax. Let me finish this off. And that also should be self-adhesive, as you can see there, done. Well, maybe not. Well, it does work, but in some cases you may need to tie it. It's not as adhesive as the buddy tape, but for the price, it does the job tremendously well, and a little knot at the bottom is all you need to put on it, and that's it there. So you wrap it up, tie it up like that, and that should fuse beautifully. Now you can cut that down to a couple of buds if you like. That's not going to grow, so we'll cut that one off. Obviously this is not going to grow either. And there's your graft, and that's a real simple one. That's called the well cut tool. It's got a little cutting blade on the end, or secateur on the end, so you can go around and snip branches off your neighbour's trees without them knowing. Let's do the Italian one now. All right, I'll just cut a couple of pieces. Same thing. It's pretty much the same sort of tool, probably a lot more robust, I suppose, or stronger. Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to put the cutting blade right in the center, and I can't see because I need to put my glasses on. Now I'm going to gamble it. How's that? Let me have a quick look. Yep, we're there. So we got it there. We're going to press down and it cuts. Then we release slowly. We've got a much longer cut. My apologies, folks. I didn't clean the blade on this one here. I haven't used it for a few months. Very important to clean your blades, especially if you leave them out and they absorb a bit of moisture on them. Just run them under, well, take them off, get a little bit of Stilo. You can use a little bit of soap, not too much. Brush them clean and then sterilize them with a bit of metho. You can see the rust marks just rubbing onto that. So ignore those rust marks, and if that happens on yours and it's the proper cut, you're going to have to wash your blade and start again. So we've done that cut there. Let's just compare something. I'll just quickly compare something. Don't mind me pulling that out. This is the difference in the cuts. Have a look at that cut there. So the well cut is on this side here. You're looking at the left side, I believe. And this one here is the Italian grafting tool. You can see how much deeper it cuts by comparison to the well cut. It's a lot shorter by comparison. So there's the difference, distinct difference between the two tools. So we've done that. Now we're going to do the opposite on this one, which is our sign wood that we're going to use to graft onto, and that has to be cut the opposite direction. So I'm lining that up like that. I'll get you to have a look at that. Okay, that's there. Now we press down. Okay, we've done the insertion. I was slightly off. See how I've gone slightly off? Nevertheless, one side will probably grab better than the other, and it will. Generally, in this case, you should do it again. So what we do this time, we do them properly. Okay, get that out. Yeah, I can't talk and think at the same time. That says a lot for my brains. Hey, Vader. Come on, mate. Relax. Come on. Good boy. Okay. I'm just going to cut this quickly. Let's see if I got it right. Yeah, I did. See, that's what happens when you put your glasses on. And that should slide on like a glove as well. All right. So that is there beautifully. Just line it up properly, then tape that up. And that should be perfect for you, folks. And you'll be able to graft anything you like. Obviously, you can't cross apples and cherries together, but you know, you can have 10 varieties of apples on one tree, and this is for extending a branch, coming off one branch and changing it to something else. So the World Cup grafting tool and the Italian grafting tool are both available on the website vasilisgarden.com. Check it all out, and keep in mind, get ready for July, second or third week of July. We're going to be organising grafting sessions, pruning and grafting at our garden centre in Coburg. All our stuff online is on discounted rates, folks, at vasilisgarden.com. Coburg and Lethbridge pickup, click and collect are available. Check it all out. From me, Vasili, Maresi.